Hey guys, the topic of today's discussion is called Somebody Just Changed Your Timeline. I want to explain to you a little bit about what this means to me by telling you a little story that happened today. And it's unfortunately kind of a little bit of a sad story in a way. I went out a few days ago, I think it was Friday afternoon, and I wanted to go downtown and have a few beers with some friends and not have to worry about driving home. So it was a gorgeous day. I took my bicycle out to do it. So I rode a few miles from my home and I got downtown, and I ended up going from one friend group to another and just having a good night in general. And I ended up staying out a bit later than I had intended to. And I have a good friend that lives downtown that offered up this option of saying, hey, it's too late for you to ride back. It's way too dark out on the trail. And like, you've had a few beers right now. It's like, why don't you just leave the bike here in my apartment complex where there was this safe, secure little bike pen where I could lock it up for the night. She said, yeah, just take a cab home and come back in a few days and you can get the bike whenever it's convenient for you. So of course, this was a great idea. I took her up on that option. So here I am a few days later. It's Monday right now, and I just walked 5 miles down from my house to go down to this downtown area to my friend's apartment there, and we go down in the little pen, and lo and behold, my bike is gone. Somebody had stolen it at some point over the weekend, which really sucks, right? Obviously, it's never fun to have something like that happen. But in every instance, as much as possible, I really try to apply this sort of mindset. And this is the core of the discussion of the day, and the part that I want to leave you guys with is that everything that happens to you, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing, has always got some sort of downline thing that potentially happens because of that action, even a bad one, even the case of my bike getting stolen, that we're never really going to know the effects of things like this that happen to us in our day-to-day lives. And I want to elaborate a little bit more on that. So, of course, after, me and my friend go down to this bike pen and figure out my bike's stolen, she just felt so bad, because I left it at her place, and she's like, oh my God, this is a big bummer. And I'm really, really sorry. And on and on and on. And of course, yes, she's a sympathetic person. I really appreciate that. But my whole thing all along was just like, hey, don't beat yourself up too much over this, because first of all, it wasn't your fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just a thing that happens. Bad things like this happen to people every single day. And the last thing that I said to her was like, hey, just let me remind you that maybe in some bizarre way, by this person, whoever this asshole was that came over the weekend and stole my bike, they changed my timeline. Okay, that's the part that I want you guys to remember. That's the part I want to deliver today. Somebody changed your timeline on you, right? It wasn't something you did. Somebody else came along and changed your timeline in the universe of your existence right now. So, like I said, the point being is that, and this is what I told my friend, maybe by this person stealing my bike today, it prevented me from, getting on my bike, riding home. And what if I got in an accident on the road because I was on my bike today? In some bizarre way, this person kept me from riding my bike home today, and it kept me on a different path, put me on a different trail, it put me on a different timeline of something that I was planning to do today. And I'm never going to know the effects of whether or not that was true, whether or not it's far-fetched, whether or not any of those things. But the important thing here is just the mindset to try to remind you guys to get into. I've talked about this before on the channel. I've discussed the Lao Tzu concept, where I'm trying to remember the name of the video where I laid that out, but there's a big message in one of his writings and teachings. I can't remember which one exactly it is, but he just talks about every single action that happens to you in your life is neither good nor bad. You're never going to know the true outcomes of things like this that happen. So like I said, in my instance here, somebody stealing the bike, I don't know what that meant for me. Maybe it means something great and amazing, because like I said, it changed my timeline. It forced me to do my day a little bit differently today. I don't know what the ramifications are going to be, but the important thing here, guys, is just to try, if you can, to be in that mindset, okay, as much as possible in your life. I know horrible bad things happen, and sometimes it's hard to look at a silver lining or a potential positive that might come of some of those sorts of things, but it's just a way to try to stay happy in your life. You can't control everything. Shitty things are going to happen from time to time, and most of the time they're things that are not life and death, right? My bike getting stolen, it sucks. It's a big bummer, but in the grand scheme of things, it is what it is. It happened, okay? Like I said, guys, just the thing to leave you with, to reiterate it, I've said it a few times now, just try to remember that when things happen to you, it changes your timeline, and you never really know what good is going to come out of something like that. Okay, try to think in those terms. Try to apply that to your life. Try to incorporate a little bit of that into your daily mindset, and I think that'll help you. Okay, guys, if you're having a wonderful day, talk to you real soon.